And we are back with another Monday preview, guys. We have three matchups this Thanksgiving week. We've got the Minnesota Wild, the Nashville Predators, and then finally the Anaheim Ducks. First off, with the Minnesota Wild, unfortunately, this is not Foligno brother versus Foligno brother because our captain, Nick Foligno, is still out, but should still be pretty entertaining. Feel like not only at the NHL level, but also, in the AHL during prospect camp, kind of Chicago versus Minnesota has gotten feistier in recent years, which is always exciting to watch. Minnesota's on a little bit of a heater right now. They had a slow start to the beginning of the season. Everyone was kind of confused. What's going on? What's going wrong with Minnesota? They've turned that around a bit as expected. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10. They are third out of eighth in the Central right now, so they're doing pretty well. Like I said, they had a little bit of a slow start, but now they are on a bit more of a heater. For injured reserve, we have a couple of guys from Minnesota that's out. You got Ryan Hartman out on week to week, Vinny Hinostroza out day to day, Marco Rossi out day to day, and then Vladimir Tarasenko is out day to day. We don't know if any of these guys are going to be back in the lineup for Wednesday for the matchup against Chicago, but expect not all of them will be back. So they'll definitely have some guys out. Some bigger pieces with the Minnesota Wild on forwards. You've got Kaprizov, Boldy, and Eriksson Ek. Defensemen, the biggest pieces is Brock Faber and my favorite kid to watch, Zeev Buium. Goaltending tandem is Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt. He is one of the bigger contributors to why the Minnesota Wild have been on a heater as of recently. He has done incredibly well for the past handful of games that he has started in net. Big fan of his game and excited to see him exceed at the next level. He's been down in Iowa for quite a bit, and now he's up with, Fleury no longer being with the Minnesota Wild. So this game should be very interesting. Like I said, no matter how we play, no matter how Minnesota plays, this matchup gets feisty. It has gotten feisty as of recently. Main takeaway that I will say is, just be mindful of where 97 in green is at all times on the ice, and that is your Kirill Kaprizov, because dangerous things can happen when that kid has the puck. I think this could definitely be a game where they could win and try to get out of the slump that they had as of last week, but at the end of the day, Minnesota's definitely a battle, so it should be interesting. It's going to be the battle of disciplines, the battle of patience, I think. But it should be a very fun matchup and feisty, like I said. Next up, we've got the Nashville Predators. Neither of them are on a back-to-back because we played Minnesota Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Everybody has American Thanksgiving off, and then we play Nashville at home the day after Thanksgiving. Nashville's not doing so hot right now, guys. They are sitting 8th out of 8th in the Central. Their last 10 is 2-6-2. So again, not great. Injured reserve, they don't have really many guys out. Smith's on a week-to-week, and Zach LaRue is out on a week-to-week. The Nashville Predators, their lineup is definitely a lot older, a lot of veterans on that team. They acquired a lot of guys a couple of years ago, and there was definitely their intent for that to be the identity. We are going to be a team of guys that have gone to the playoffs before. They have played long into the season. They know how to get the job done. It hasn't worked out for them as of late. In net for the goaltending tandem, you have UC Saros and Justus Annunen. Like I said, neither team is on a back-to-back, so there's not an easy answer as to who's going to be in net. I would imagine Friday night against Chicago, maybe you put UC Saros in net. Should be interesting. Forward-wise, you have Forsberg, Stamkos, Marchessault, and O'Reilly. Like I said, these guys are definitely older than the Blackhawks crew right now. They definitely do have some young pieces. Your Matthew Wood, your Weisblatt, your Luke Evangelista. But overall, Nashville is definitely a more veteran team, although like we've seen, with their performance as of recent, that isn't a necessarily slam dunk all the time. So it shouldn't be too much of a concern. Defenseman wise, some big pieces. You've got Yossi and you've got Brady Shea. Like I said, the big thing with Nashville is they're older. So on an individual basis, you definitely have guys that are very talented. But just things are not working in Nashville. They seem to be one of the teams that are kind of lost in not having an overall identity of the team. They're definitely one of those where you kind of look at the roster and on paper, they should be doing better than they are on the ice, but you can't really pinpoint, you know, oh, it's this, oh, it's this. It's just kind of across the board right now, not working for the Nashville Predators. But that doesn't mean that it's an easy win because this is the NHL and there's no easy wins. This is definitely a game that the Hawks should win. I would like to see them win because nobody likes to see us lose to Nashville on a Friday night. I think speed will definitely be something in the Blackhawks' favor with how young everybody is. And this is definitely one where the bash and pop style of constant attack is going to work in their favor. But then on the flip side, you want to be careful that you don't get awkwardly pinched and Ryan O'Reilly is running down towards Spencer Knight with the puck because usually great things happen for Ryan O'Reilly and that wouldn't be great for us. So that's Friday night. Again, attack, 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 but you're still going to want to be incredibly mindful of where those veteran guys are at all times. Final one for this week, we have the Anaheim Ducks. We're not going to talk about them a ton during this preview just because we've already played them and we are going to California next week and we're going to have Royally Quacked on the show. Not me and Krusty going to California, but the Blackhawks are going to California. So we're going to have Royally Quacked on the following week to talk Anaheim and talk LA in a bit more depth, but we're just going to do kind of a refresher for the Anaheim Ducks. They're sitting first out of 8th in the Pacific right now, so great things for the Ducks. Their last 10 are 6-4-0. Injured reserve, you really don't have a ton of guys. You've got Granlund out on a day-to-day and Paling out on a day-to-day. No back-to-back for Los Angeles or Chicago. They're in LA on Friday, and then they play in Chicago on Sunday, so they do have a day of rest. Maybe there's a potential that we get a Peter Mrazek in net on Sunday. Figured Dostal will play Wednesday and Friday at home, holiday week. And then you have the backup for the road trip. But again, it could be either or really just because they do have that day in between. We talked about their players a lot last time that we had Royally Quacked on. And like I said, we're going to have them on again next week. But this is definitely a matchup for the young kids versus young kids. Some guys for the Anaheim Ducks to watch out for. You have Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, Beckett Seneca, and then our favorite on the show, Mason McTavish. Should be a very interesting game. It was very tight the last time that the boys matched up with each other a couple of weeks ago. So just to recap, we've got Minnesota on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. We have Nashville that Friday, and then we have Anaheim at home. All of these games are at home on Sunday. That is all, and we will talk at you guys next week.